In this video, we are in beautiful Washington, D.C. to try out a cocktail bar called Silver Lyan. So please join us as we check out the space, the atmosphere, and sample some of the drinks to see if this spot is worth you giving a visit. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are in the capital of the United States, Washington, D.C. to check out the sights during the day and then at night try out a cocktail bar I've been wanting to visit for a while called Silver Lyan. Now this cocktail bar is hidden underneath the Riggs Hotel inside a former bank vault. It was opened in February 2020 by world-renowned bartender Ryan, Mr Lyan, Chetiyawardana, along with Lore Group and the Riggs Hotel team. Silver Lyan was actually Mr Lyan's first bar in the United States and one of multiple acclaimed bars he has opened around the world. These include White Lion, Dandelion, Lioness, and Seed Library. These are all located in London. And then he has a location in the Netherlands called Super Lyan. Also, on a side note, they just opened another Seed Library in New York City. And since that is our home base, we can't wait to try it out. Stay tuned for a future video on that one. Now going back to Silver Lyan, since they opened, it has quickly become one of DC's most celebrated cocktail destinations, earning recognition from Tales of the Cocktail and landing on multiple world's best bar lists. So today, we're going to see if the drinks, atmosphere, and overall experience really live up to the hype. However, as we head on over there, let's see what people are saying about them online. Now, for Yelp, they have a 4.4 out of 223 reviews, and on Google, a 4.7 out of 503. So really good reviews there. For the positive, people mentioned the service and the drinks. They mentioned it's the most exceptional cocktail experience in Washington. And they also mentioned the beautiful atmosphere. They really love the ambiance and atmosphere. For the negatives, they mentioned that the cocktails have very little alcohol in them and that they're overpriced. And some people also mentioned the horrible service. So the positive review is true or the negative? Well, let's head on in and find out for ourselves. So now that we are seated, let's take a look at the menu. Now they also have a special menu, which we will take a look at later. However, for now, let's take a look at the main menu, because this is what we are actually here for. I have to say, this menu is super cool. It seems to be based on the butterfly effect and looking at the bigger picture and how everyone is connected in this world. For more info on that, you can read this little opening section. Then we have food, and it looks really good. Normally we would get some, however we already ate before coming and are stuffed. Now onto the drinks portion, and based on this idea of the butterfly effect, they have it separated into 3 sections with 4 drinks each for a total of 12 drinks. Each section has a different theme related to the overall core concept of the menu. The first section, which we're looking at here, is called Culture and Media, with drinks inspired by TV shows, such as the drink right here that is based on Homer Simpson. The next section is called Law and Government, with drinks based off historic figures, such as politicians, officials, and even one based off Johannes Gutenberg, called the Gutenberg Highball. They also have another drink based off the Chinese peasant who became an emperor. I ordered this one for our first round. Then finally you have the conflict portion, with drinks based off the unintended consequences of war, including another drink I just ordered inspired by Alfred Nobel, the inventor of dynamite and founder of the Nobel Peace Prize, aptly named the Dynamite Old-Fashioned. I am just loving the concept of this menu, so cool. However, those are not all the drinks, because then you have the classic section, which seems to be at every Mr Lyan's bar. However, be forewarned, these are not just plain regular classics. They are this bar's takes on classics and can be a bit different than the original or what you might be expecting. And we can see that here. Project Manhattan nukes a black currant. Then you have the Silver Service Martini. The Seasonal Sazerac is a bit unique. And the Beeswax Old-Fashioned is actually in most of their different bars, or at least I know it's in Seed Library and Lioness. Then finally we have shots, jello shots, wine, and then beer. Then on the last page, we have this guide, which I love. Since all the ingredients can be daunting, it lets you know the style of the drink using this chart, with it ordered from lighter to richer. Really helpful, though I still recommend also consulting with your server and asking them questions. Well, we're all finished with the menu. Let's get our drinks. Now for the first drink in our opening round, we got the Bandit Emperor Fix, which I mentioned earlier. We both love this drink. It's a perfect Manhattan variation. I got some smokiness from the scotch and toasted millet, then some fruitiness from the pomegranate. However, what I really enjoyed was a nice tea and maple note. Really elevated the drink to the next level. What a delicious sipper. This was a home run and I would definitely order it again. We also got the Dynamite Old-Fashioned, and this was another incredible drink. It had almost this buttery mouthfeel to it. I'm not sure what that came from though. For taste, you get some nice berry notes along with some nuttiness from the pumpkin seed, as well as some smokiness, which I think comes from that gunpowder tea. I also love this little gummy garnish that came with the cocktail. I always love a little edible treat with my drinks. Now, on their Instagram later on, they mentioned that this gummy has pop rocks in it. I didn't get that myself, so maybe either the pop rocks didn't pop or this was a non-pop rock version. Who knows? However, at the time, I didn't know something was missing, so it didn't affect my enjoyment of the drink at all. Overall, this was another home run. I would definitely order it again. Looks like our first round was a success. Now, for the first drink of round 2, the server really worked with me because I mentioned I wanted to drink along the same lines as the Rappaport, which I had at Lioness in London. And I have to say, wow, boy did this deliver. They told me to start with eating this garnish, which was a purple potato chip and strawberry caviar, and then start sipping the drink. And I have to say this really worked. I got a nice smokiness from the mezcal along with a little savoriness, possibly from the pechuga, I'm not sure. Then the strawberry came in along with a milky, almost slightly fermented yogurt vibe. This drink was incredible and definitely was in the style I was looking for. Such a great recommendation. The other drink we ordered this round was the Operation Mind, and I'll let you fill in the rest. I enjoyed this drink. It was very smooth and no one ingredient stood out, though I did get a very nice apple flavor, most likely from the Calvados. We both really enjoyed this, however, while good, I would say it was our least favorite drink of the night. So this is that special menu that we talked about earlier and that we were going to get back to. It's called the Celebration of Friendship and it appears to be part of the Cherry Blossom Festival. Just as the cherry blossoms were a gift of friendship between the US and Japanese, this is a cool little collaboration with a group of other local bars that they are friends with. It looks like you can get one of these bars' signature drinks and a food item that they are known for. I really like this. It gives you a chance to try out some signature cocktails and food from some other DC bars. And even if you are on a tight schedule and can't make it to the actual bar in person. Now for our last drink, she gave us a sample of their Seasonal Sazerac. On top, if memory serves me correctly, they use a smoke infused with absinthe. I know on earlier versions of the drink they use an absinthe paint, however it doesn't mention that on the menu anymore, so I think they changed it. The cognac is infused with mixed fruits that they use a Solera aging process for. That combined with the spiciness of the rye blends together perfectly. While on paper it might look like a regular Sazerac variation, it is anything but that. It's unique, interesting, and that Solera aging process causes it to develop and change over time. This really makes the drink unique. I think by now she knew our taste because this was one of the best drinks of the night and the perfect way to end the evening. Well, it's time to head out, and as we do, let's go over the positive, neutral, and negative of this bar. Now, for the positives, we have drinks, service, and atmosphere, and I have to say the drinks were exceptional. As with all Mr. Lyan's bars, they're inventive and unique. Even if they look simple or like a classic on the menu like that Sazerac, trust me, they are not. Something is always done to transform them. So don't sleep on the classics part of the menu, they are anything but traditional. Along with that comes the incredible service. Despite it being a busy Friday night, everybody was fantastic. The server worked with us to decipher the menu and hone in on the style of drinks we liked. In fact, when I mentioned I was blown away by a drink at Lioness in London called the Rappaport, she went out of her way to consult with the bartender and manager to recommend drinks in the same vein, including picking that Sazerac variation for us, which I would never have done on my own. Now that's exceptional service. Finally, the atmosphere and location was so cool, being hidden away in the basement of the hotel in an old bank vault. Also, the interior was so elegant and classy. I also really like that they decorated it with cherry blossoms, such a cool touch, though that may be temporary since we visited during the Cherry Blossom Festival. Then moving on to the neutrals, we have just one pre-batched. As always, I will put it down. However, unlike some spots that pre-batch more for convenience, at Silver Lyan, the amount of complex processes they are using really do require it. Finally, for negatives, well, we didn't really have any of those at this bar. Now, to address some of the reviews from before, in our own personal experience, we found none of the negative reviews to be true. The service was great, especially for a busy Friday night, and the drinks were plenty strong. Saying the drinks are not strong just because the booze doesn't hop out of the glass and slap you in the face is a bit ridiculous. No, that's not weak. It's called being well balanced. If all you want to taste is the alcohol, then just drink it straight or get a stirred spirit-forward drink like a Manhattan. Half the time, people who say these things ordered the wrong style of cocktail for their expectations and then blame it on the bar. The pricing also seemed reasonable for a cocktail bar of this standard. So what are our final thoughts on this bar? Well, we loved it. Everything was fantastic. The drinks, service, and atmosphere all impressed us. If we lived in Washington, we would definitely have this place in our regular rotation, and if you are a local and haven't tried this spot, definitely give it a try. Now, if you are visiting like we are, then this spot is a must visit, especially if you don't have a Mr. Lyan's bar in your city. Now, if you live in London, which is where you started and has around 5 locations, I can see trying a local spot like Service Bar. However, keep in mind that every one of their bars have different menus and their own personality, so you will still get a unique experience even if you've been to another one of his bars. Well, those are our final thoughts on Silver Lyan. If you enjoyed this video, then check out the other videos that should pop up on your screen shortly. Also, please let us know what you think or if you have any questions or thoughts in the comments below. Finally, please click like, subscribe, and that bell icon so you get notified of any new videos. And most importantly, always drink responsibly. Thank you for watching, and please join us again on Boozy Explorers.